Well, over the last few months, a lot of people have been rather disappointed with the world of crypto because it has been rather damn boring. We had the ETF approval, we have the halving, we had all of these major catalysts that have happened, and realistically, the market's not really doing much. This has led people to, say again over and over again that crypto is boring and that nothing's happening, and so on and so forth. And today, I wanted to talk a little bit about why what we are seeing is incredibly normal, especially not only just for the grand scheme of things, but even in the last year and a half. Why this pretty much always happens and what generally happens as a result of this type of movement. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about what happens in moments like these, why crypto is boring like this, why it's a good thing, and what I'm doing in this moment of boringness in the world of crypto. So with that said, let's actually jump over to the Bitcoin charts here. Or actually, let's just go to the total market cap charts just to get a feel for what is happening in the market. So as we can see, realistically, yes, Bitcoin's not really done much. Currently where we have been since February 28th of 2024, meaning that we've been here for roughly, 2 to 2.5 months. Now, in the grand scheme of things, having sideways movement of this nature, which isn't necessarily even sideways, right? We had a pump and then a pullback. Oh, Lord, there we go. A pump and a pullback, a pump and a pullback, pump and a pullback and a pump. Yes, it has been boring, but it's not really been that boring. But what you can see here is that this isn't anything new. This isn't anything special. And people are pretending as if what we are seeing right now is something that we've not seen before for some odd reason. But realistically, if we just go look back over the last few years, right, and you look at, say, December to January, the end of December to January, we had a month to a month and a half of just a literal sideways movement here. And we could even really bring this all the way out and say that this went from December to February. The little moment in which we were parabolic and we were seeing gains only realistically lasted for this little period, maybe even just this little period right here before we went back to being sideways just like we were right here. Now you look back before that, you kind of look at to where we were over the last, from 2023. Dude, January 2023 to October of 2023. So now we're talking 10 months. Forget 2 months, 10 months. And look at the price of Bitcoin. Yes, we had our lows and our highs, but in the grand scheme of things, we didn't do much for the majority of this year. Now, of course, this was the bottom of the bear market, and this is when we were really starting to actually pick up for the bull market or whatever it may be. But realistically, nothing really happened in there. You go back even further between that during the real bear market, from June 2022 to November of 2022 to what you really could consider to be January of 2023. This little period right here, nothing really happened. And if you look at the grand scheme of things, from June of 2022 all the way to October of 2023, nothing really happened, right? And so I hope you're starting to get the realization that, yes, although, we are in a bull market and time should be a little bit more exciting right now, realistically, having a moment in which the price of Bitcoin or the price of major alts or whatever it may be is going just sideways and not doing too much, it's normal. And what you can kind of notice is that in between these moments, maybe not right here because this was the bottom of the bear market, but in between these moments in general in which we put in these periods of boringness and then we break out of that period of boringness, we generally go upwards, right? You can see that upward movement there. You can see that upward movement there. You can see those upward movements up here, or these movements up here, or these movements up here, right? Generally speaking, these serve as beautiful times for accumulation. And that's what I do believe is happening right here. Now, is that me saying we're going to immediately see this go up? No. We could go sideways like this for another month. We could go sideways like this for another 2 months, guys. We could go sideways like this until September, June, July, August. Typically rough month for crypto. We could see it get extended all the way out here before we actually see any real price movement. And so, no, I'm not saying that it's immediately going to pump and you should just immediately start buying everything you can right now. But what I am saying is that realistically, in the grand scheme of things, even if we do go a little sideways or pull back just a little bit, the likelihood is that at some point we are going to get that continuation and that movement and that pump to the top side. And so although crypto feels boring and although crypto feels like it sucks and nothing's really happening, in the grand scheme of things, this has historically served as a beautiful time to start accumulating and start be able to, kind of leverage into those positions, ladder into those positions, hedge in those positions, prepare your strategies and prepare for things of that nature. And especially when you have to consider the liquidity from the halving hasn't been injected into the market yet. We have places like Hong Kong, which is now starting to truly inject liquidity into Bitcoin, truly start to inject it into Ethereum. And that's that's not even until April 30th. So there's still 4 or 5 days from that. We will eventually see inflation cuts happen, or sorry, interest rate cuts happen as a result of hopefully inflation getting tamed. It's an election year here in the States. And so obviously the US is going to try to pump money into these markets to make things feel better before elections. None of those things have really taken effect yet. And so because of that, yes, although the market does feel boring, it's not one that you should just give up on, because historically this will very likely serve as a beautiful time to be accumulating. Now, the things that I'm personally accumulating on, right? Let's start from big and let's go down to small. You obviously have the crypto gaming niche. I made a video about that not too long ago, and I said, look, while we are waiting for the liquidity to enter into Bitcoin and enter into your altcoins, I'm going to start preparing further than that. I'm under the belief that we're going to see the liquidity cycle get sparked, in which, again, we see Bitcoin, then Ethereum to top 10 alts into microcaps, into everything else, right? And so my whole goal is, let me start to prepare for that. Let me start to accumulate and build up little small positions in some of these microcaps, in some of these top 50s, top 30s, top 20s, because those will be the ones that do eventually see these 10 to 20x gains as a result of the liquidity that we should see injected into Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of these other ones very soon. And so because of that, yeah, some of the things that I am buying, like I mentioned before, I'm going in, adding into some of my Web3 gaming bags, right? We saw those things pump up. We saw things like Floki up 36%, Multiverse up 5%. We saw Sandbox and Mana and all these other ones doing pretty damn decently over the last 7 days, having a little bit of a pullback now, but they have seen some type of growth. And so, of course, they're doing well. Moving off of that one, we had something like Jasmy. I made a video about this recently. I told you all, look, I'm either going to be going long on this bad boy, or I'm going to be doing a major dollar cost average into my long-term portfolio on this bad boy, depending on which one of these zones we break next. Now, I'm not going to explain this again, the technical analysis. Go check out my last Jasmy video if you do want to go check that out. But you do get the point. I am preparing these buys. I'm preparing these accumulations. I'm getting ready to add into these bags. Even though the market is boring, I'm preparing for what comes after that boringness. Going a little bit further down the line, you guys saw me drop a tweet earlier talking about UnityPad, saying that, look, if you want to be able to get access to some of these private sale gains, or these launch gains, or these VC gains, right? This is where people make real money in crypto. You know, you can make good money investing into like a Bitcoin or a top 10 alt or whatever it may be, but you make real money investing into private sales and pre-sales and early launches. And UnityPad gives people the ability to be able to capitalize on those gains, because what they do is they get access to these things. They get access to these rounds. They get access to these raises and sales. And then, of course, if you invest into their token, as they earn profits from investing into these sales and these raises, they re-inject the profits from those sales and raises back into the token and back into marketing and back into growth and expanding out the token itself. And this is the type of company that's going to be able to drive growth to its holders when the liquidity does re-enter back into the seed round and private sale area and that part of crypto. And they're going to make a lot of money, and they're likely going to make their holders a lot of money if they pull this off successfully. Now, this is a token that I personally am buying. This is live already. They have launched already. Their token price is doing well already. And this is a way that I personally have been able to kind of continue to ladder into the world of private sales and VC rounds and things like that without having to actually even take part in them myself. And you can check them out down below if you'd like to. They're rather new to the channel, but it is one I'm going to talk about more often, because it gives you a beautiful example to take advantage and capitalize on something that you really generally wouldn't be able to. These are the types of things that I'm talking about. These are the types of cryptos that I'm talking about. Getting into those and finding those narratives, finding the ones that have that potential to capitalize on the liquidity in the moments in which the market's not doing too much is exactly how you make gains. And it's exactly how you beat FOMO. It's the opposite of FOMO. You're buying when nobody else is buying so that you can sell when everybody else wants everything, right? And so with that in mind, I just wanted to give you an update, let you guys know what I'm doing, how I'm going about it, and why this boringness, although it is annoying, it's not something that should be, feared, or it's not something that you should be upset about. It's something you should be grateful for, because whenever the boringness is over, shit just gets absolutely chaotic, and that's when real gains are absolutely made. And so with that in mind, that's about it for another one of these updates today. Of course, I hope you guys have been enjoying these videos recently. Much more quick, much more straight to the point, and much more frequent. If you have been, of course, please do let me know, guys, by subscribing to the channel down below. And you also, while you are down there, go check out, I have a CoinW link. If you do sign up to their exchange and deposit some funds, you can get up to $30,000 in rewards. This is a deal that was pretty hard for us to work out, but we got it for you. So make sure sure that you do go take advantage of that down below. They are an exchange that you can trade on completely with leverage. You don't need a KYC, meaning you don't need to give them any of your personal information, nor do you need a VPN. You can just deposit funds and start trading and get up to $30,000 in bonuses. So don't miss out on that. Go take advantage on that down in the description below. And I can't wait to see you all soon in the next video. Peace out, everybody.